a first-year coordinator, what did having a player like Kenny Clark in your group mean to kind of instilling your culture and defense here?
Yeah, it's kind of like what I said a couple weeks ago. I'm forever grateful for Kenny, coming in, coming from being a college head coach to back to the NFL to being a coordinator again. You never quite know what you're going to get. And he was the vet. And just having him around, being able to lean on him, being such an unbelievable pro, an unbelievable person in the buy-in, I'll forever be grateful for that. He made it a very easy situation, and there's just not many guys out there like him. So I appreciate everything that he did for me. I know the Packers appreciate everything that he's done for the Packers, and I'm a huge Kenny Clark fan, always will be, and just appreciate him.
Obviously, we're all focusing on Micah so much, but Rashan happens to lead the league in sacks right now. Obviously, you saw what he did last year. What's been different? Is it just the Micah effect, or is there something else different there with Rashan to kind of explain that?
I think you got to give credit to Rashan. I said it during training camp. I saw it during OTAs. I saw the way he worked in the offseason. He came back in great shape, worked on his get-off, worked on his pass rush, and it's what he does every day, and it's what he did in training camp, and that's what we were hoping we were going to see, and we have. He's finishing on the quarterback. I think he's playing really good in the run game. He's playing more snaps because he's in better shape. He knows the defense. He has a better understanding of it, and I think I think he's had a really good start, and we just need to continue because it's just a start, right? And he's got to get better and better, and we got to coach him better and better. I give a lot of credit to those D-line coaches. I think they're doing an incredible job. I think DeMarcus, VO, and Wendell in that room have really done a nice job meshing together, being DeMarcus's first year, and I think it's a great combination right now. But I'm really proud of RG and where he's at, and we got to push him to continue to get better.
What have you seen from Nate Hobbs these last two games as he's come back off the injury?
Just getting more comfortable. I mean, kind of came right back from the injury and didn't really practice very much full speed. So I think he's getting his legs back under him. I think he's gaining his confidence back. He hadn't played football and just getting in the routine of things. So I think, you'll see him play more and more, and I think you'll see him play faster and more confident, and I'm excited for that. I got a lot of respect for him, the way he came back so quickly after it with minimal practice reps and kind of went out there and played. So I'm excited about what he's going to do going forward.
Hey Jeff, how
you always you're like the voice that pops out of nowhere. It's like I'm looking, everybody's staring at me, and then it's just like,
It's like Hobbs. How dangerous a quarterback is Dak Prescott?
Oh yeah, Dak's really dangerous. I mean, I think the first time I went up against Dak was years ago. Gosh, it feels like a while ago when I was in San Francisco. And just watching him on tape the last couple of days, he sees things really well. He does a really good job of getting in and out of plays. He's always talking at the line. He's always checking at the line, and he sees it quick. He gets rid of the ball fast, and he throws the ball deep really well. He throws some really nice deep passes, and he's accurate, and then he can still beat you with his feet. He's strong. He's hard to tackle. I've been really impressed with him without having to study him for like a long period of time and then seeing him again. I think he's a special one, and it will be a challenge for us.
Have you and X, because X has a lot of experience against him with the Giants, have you and X talked at all, or really game plan specifically based on what he's experienced against him, or have you guys?
Yeah, I always ask anytime a player's played against a player, I want their feedback and just kind of their general thoughts of what they think about him, what they saw live, and just conversation.
So Jeff, with
Go.
Okay.
We'll take turns. We'll get them all.
So the Cowboys aren't going to have CeeDee Lamb in this game. So from your perspective, I'm not asking you for the game plan, but do you try to spend time figuring out what they might do differently without him, or is it more of you got to just react on game day to what changes they might make with missing a big guy like that?
I mean, they got other really good players. I mean, Pickens is a really good wideout. Their tight end is got a ton of catches. Their back is electric, and They've got other really good receivers. The slot can roll. I mean, he is dynamic in how fast he can run. And Dak's throwing up the ball to a bunch of guys. I mean, so they have other weapons. Obviously, he's a really good football player, and you watch him on film, and he definitely jumps out. But yeah, you can think about, are they going to maybe come out in this personnel a little bit more? Are they going to stay in this? Are they going to be who they are? And I mean, just like any other game, you go in and you think you're going to get something, and you have to react. I mean, that's how every game in the NFL is, right? People don't just stay the same. They have new adjustments. They have new plays. They have new formations and personnel groupings, just like we do. And it's how fast you see it and how fast can you react. But you can't chase ghosts. You kind of got to practice against what they have been doing, and then you always look back at yourself and see what's hurt you, what they might be copying. But then you could just start playing this whole game of, well, I think I'm going to get this, so we need to practice that. This is what they do. I need to practice that. Maybe they'll do this. And we only get like a handful of reps of practice. So you got to try to figure it out and then react.
So I'm going to try to articulate this the right way. So you're speaking of the last game, you're in this game and you are holding them without any points, pretty much dominating, doing what you want to do on defense. And then in the last 4 minutes, because of circumstances, they score 10 points or whatever. Does any part of you think, oh, I should have done something else early, something more aggressive, try to create more points because my offense is not doing pretty well? Does that thought go in your mind, or is that, just
Like
second guess?
before those 4?
Yeah, before,
No,
earlier.
what goes into my mind is we stop them, we make them punt. We stop them, we make them punt. We stop them, we make them punt. What can we do to stop them again and make them punt? If they hit us on a big play, how can we make sure it doesn't happen again? You can't start chasing. If you start chasing, you're going to give up explosive plays. If you start being reckless, you're going to give up explosive plays. When you're keeping teams, 3 or under, you just got to keep fighting. And then if we get the ball on the 4-yard line, we have to stop them. I mean, that's our job. I mean, they had the ball on the goal line the drive before, and we stopped them, right? They had the ball on the 4-yard line. I said, here we go. We're going to stop them. And then they get the ball on whatever yard line it is and have to drive 10, 15 yards, and we have to stop them. I mean, that's our job. So, no, you got to stay the course. You can't try to get too reckless because then you're going to give up a big play. So I look at every call that I make, and I am very critical on myself and reflective of myself after every single game. And you always want certain calls back for sure, but that's just the nature of it. But no, I don't think like that.
Was there any teaching moment or anything you guys could have done differently on the very last play to not allow them any time to spike it, or is that just how they just did it fast?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't execute the last play the way we wanted to execute it, so I wish that we did.
But after they actually got the play, was there anything you could have?
With the spike, yeah, we could lie on the – absolutely. I mean, you just answered the question yourself. You lie on the guy, you fight for the ball, and you hope that he can't get up. And now there's a fine line there because the refs could call you. But for sure, it just happens fast a lot of the times. And, with a young group, I got to coach that better, and I got to make sure that they understand that situation better. And then when the time comes, and if it does come again, we'll execute it better. So yeah, they're all learning experiences. I think win or lose, whether you play really good defense or you don't play really good defense, I think you have to treat it the same way. You got to learn from every single thing that happens throughout the course of a game, win or lose. And unfortunately, we didn't win that game, so we have to be better.
Jeff, when you talk about it's our job to get the stop, I get all that, but there's not a lot to nitpick with you guys from the outside looking in. With the exception of the fact that you guys have put so much emphasis on taking the ball away, and you have 2 picks, and one of them that you could probably argue you'd have been better off batting down if McKinney's maybe, because it was a 4th down play. Why are you not getting the results? Because we know how hard you've worked on it.
Yeah, I mean that's life, right? I mean, you're process driven, and I know you guys are all looking at me like that's coach speak, but you put in a lot of work, and you do it over and over and over again, and you emphasize it, and you coach it, and if it falls up short, you don't give up on it, and you you don't feel like, man, we're never going to get these. And now maybe you tweak certain things that you're doing, or maybe you have new thoughts and you look hard at yourself why they're not happening. But we've emphasized that more than we've emphasized it last year. It just so happened last year, this time, I think we had probably 8 or 9. And my belief is that they're coming. I mean, we're swinging at the ball more than we did last year. And then I honestly, that's the truth, because we're even charting that. I mean, we're to the point where we're charting how many opportunities did we have to go after the football. For every play, we feel we had an opportunity and how many we didn't take. And guys are taking them, and they're going to come. It's like you just keep sharpening and sharpening and sharpening and swinging at that tree, and eventually it's going to fall down, and eventually we're going to get the takeaways. Now, again, I don't know how much the ball is going up against us right now, right? It's not, and that's a good thing. But yeah, I want to get more takeaways. We want to get more takeaways. I don't think anybody's sitting here happy with that. So if you want to think about something that we need to do better, and there is other things we have to clean up, and I think we can play better, that's one of them. And I'll do my best to make sure we get them.
Well, but going back to Spoon's question, like, you don't want to chase. You also don't want to chase in a dangerous way that you're putting yourself out of position because you're going after more interceptions or abandoning your technique because now suddenly you're feeling the pressure to get more takeaways, right?
No, you don't. You guys are all tied in together on this, and you're right, because there were some times in that game where in certain situations where we weren't tackling, we were kind of going backward. It's because the first guy in wasn't wrapping up. The first guy in was doing exactly what we're talking about, and he was going for punches, and you can't tackle like that. The second guy in can, or the guy you don't see can, or the third or fourth guy in because we're running to the ball can, but you have to be careful there. Because if you do start chasing it, then we're giving up 8 yards after the catch, and it turns into a first down, which that's what happens when you chase it. Or if all of a sudden your middle safety says, I'm going to take a shot and come out of the middle of the field and drive a high cross or drive a dig, and they run a post, well, guess what just happened? We just gave up a 50-yard explosive play. So you got to preach to your guys, just trust the process, stay patient, and they'll come. There was runs of games last year where we weren't getting takeaways, right? But then there was runs that we were. So we got to continue to emphasize it, and then hopefully that comes, and that does help us win football games. Because I'm with you. I mean, our job is to do everything we can to win, and we got to get the ball back, too.
Jeff, it's the elephant in the room this week, Micah, going back to Dallas. I'm curious, because that's going to be an emotional experience for him. How do you handle that? Do you talk to him during the week about it, or just kind of stay back and let him do him?
Yeah, we've had a little bit of conversations, but he's really done a good job of this week of kind of focusing on the plan, focusing on his teammates, focusing on getting better. And he's kind of put that off right now. And I'm not going to just continue to bring it up and cause a distraction because I don't think that he needs that. And I applaud him so far with the way that he's handled it. I think it's really cool. And I know when he walks in there, it's going to be emotional. And I get that, and I respect that. So I want to respect him on that and let him handle it how he feels the best, and if he wants to talk about it and more, I'll be happy to talk to him about it.
Jeff, a month later, do you know more about Micah Parsons than you did when he got here? And is that going to be a process that continues, or is he just a guy, I mean, you see what he does, you know what kind of talent he has. Is that just...
No, we're all learning him, and it's been helpful because we see what he does in games, we see what he's good at, and we kind of have been building off of that, and the players too, working together. I'll give you an example to try to make sense of what I'm saying without going into too much detail schematically. There was a pressure that we ran where he was set up to run it with another player, but he went so fast, and he's so fast that it really, looking back, wasn't the right spot to put him in. So rather on that call, we've learned with him, it's better to let him do something else on that. Because of how fast he did it, right? So if that makes any sense. So I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, like as we watch him live, because it's faster than practice, there's certain things that we're tweaking, and him and the linebackers and him and the other defensive linemen are figuring out how to work well together. So I see that getting better and better as we go, because that's what training camp is for. It's like an O-line, kind of how those guys have to be able to work together. It's like DBs. If me and you are covering and there's 3 and 3 and we're figuring out how we're going to do that, the D-line needs to figure that out together with him, and that's going to take time and reps. And with the linebackers too, because we do a lot of things with the linebackers. So I think you'll see it get better.
After this last game, is the evaluation for a game like that more difficult because there is such a long period where you're keeping points off the board, but then due to circumstances at the end, in part, there were points given up at the end? Does that make the overall evaluation more challenging than some other games?
What do you mean about the evaluation?
As you're looking back at the tape and the play, and you said self-reflecting on your own play calls throughout the game, just the kind of the pendulum swing that went from no points allowed to points allowed at the end.
No, when we watch the film, win or lose, you turn on the tape and you watch each play and you go through, like, I can be, like, truthful. Say they ran the ball and we had, it was a TFL for -2 yards, and we're watching the first play and we're in the staff room and we're all talking. And I go through each position. The 3 technique did this, and nose did this. Well, maybe the TFL was because they messed up and we just had a run through. And actually we were wrong and it was bad. And that's a minus for our defense, even though it was a -2 on the play. So the result of -2, that's awesome. In the heat of the moment, I'm fired up. I think it was a great call and we played it well. But then when you watch the film, no, it wasn't. It's because they made a mistake and they didn't block our 3 technique and we got a TFL for it. So that's the way we look at every single play. Right? It's not just a result. It's good play, no, not really, or bad play. You know what? They made a really good play. That is a good call. We're going to run it again, and we got to play it better, right? That's just how I look at everything. Everything with me is about the process, and is it right? And can we get better, or do we need to fix it? So win or lose, that's done. It's what can we do to get better in either way. Now, when you win, it feels a lot better when you're making those corrections, or else I'd be lying to you. And when you lose, it doesn't feel very good, but you got to push that aside and get better either way. You got to do it again, right? Win or lose, you got to go do it again and get better. That's our league. We got a lot of games left.
Jeff, when you talk about evaluation, what do you expect from players that draw double teams? Like, because when I look at Parsons, there are times when he
Triple teamed?
Right,
Yeah.
and still manages to win, which is, you know, Mike McCarthy was talking today, said he's the most disruptive player he's ever coached.
Mm-hmm.
What's realistic to expect from a mortal and from maybe a star and just guys in general when they're getting that much attention? How productive can they be versus how much are they drawing away to let other people be productive?
If he's going to get double teamed and triple teamed, we're going to have a lot of guys with a lot of sacks and a lot of pressures, and we're going to start drawing up some fun stuff that's going to force them either not to double them, or we're going to have someone free like we did a couple times in that game. So him getting doubled helps us out an unbelievable amount. Now, when you watch him get doubled, he still gets close to the quarterback. I mean, which is incredible. The motor that he has, how hard he plays, how low he gets. But there's some other guys out there now. You start paying too much attention to him, you got the other guy leading the NFL in sacks right now, in Rashan Gary. And you have Lucas Van Ness, his pressures are going up. And you have Devontae Wyatt inside, and his pressures are going up, right? And you got all those other guys who you're going to have to worry about. And then you have Edgerrin Cooper, who might be popping out and wrapping this way, and Quay Walker, who might be coming off the edge this way. So go double him. He might still get you, and then the other guys are going to get you too.